Hello, and welcome back to Danganronpa Another 2. Last time we did our investigation and started the trial. We had like a very small portion of it, about 5-ish minutes, I want to say, 5-10 minutes. We just did like the 1 minute game that I hate, and that was it. And now we're back. I don't know how long this is going to be. I assume this is going to be a recording that's split in two though, because we are not very far into this trial. But we shall see. I have no clue who could have done it. Nobody makes sense. We're down to so few people. It's kind of like, is it Aroha just because, like, she's the only one that makes sense? But then again, it's like, who knows, you know? Let's get right into it, I guess. So let me get this straight, Mikado. Immediately after Yuki and Yoriko left the West area, I headed straight to the broadcasting room to film that video. Precisely. I'll give credit where credit is due. Your logic is indeed sound. I did have the time and resources to broadcast that video. Sora, what are you saying? However, that also applies to you, doesn't it? Between the two of us, I'd say you're the one with the more suspicious alibi. You're trying to make it sound like our alibis don't matter and we're all suspects. But at least 4 of us can prove that we were in the locations we said we were in our alibis. However, not a single person even saw or knew where you were during the incident. From our perspective, Mikado, you have 0 concrete info about your alibi. To use your own words, aren't you in the perfect condition to commit the crime? Sora's right. Both Yoriko and I can prove we were in the East and South areas respectively through our keycard histories. Aroha proved her alibi by meeting up with Yoriko. That's right. I was running towards the West area after watching the broadcast when I met Yoriko. Yeah, that much I'm sure of. Can you prove you were in some other place when the video was being broadcasted? More importantly, even the people in the South and East areas managed to arrive at the crime scene on time. And yet, you arrived way after the announcement was made. What made you so busy, I wonder? As you've established, our alibis are not concrete. I might have easily committed the murder, as I was readily in the West area. But, if we go by that logic, you, whose alibi is non-existent, are pretty suspicious as well. Actually, I'd say you'd be the best option to murder out of any of us. You're most absolutely right. Then let's not forget about this crucial information. What? Are you for real now? You were told in saying that Sora's the culprit, and you think you can get out scot-free? I mean, didn't I say from the start? I wanted to find another culprit step by step, from one clue to another. But I had no choice but to present my rebuttal when you accused me of murder out of nowhere. What do you mean out of nowhere? I said that because you are the culprit. Yoriko. Huh, what's up, Sora? Let's stop that train of thought for now. I'm not trying to cover for Mikado, but he's too important to die yet. He's the mastermind. It can't be him. The game ends if he dies. There are other discussions that need to be held right now. I also do think that Mikado is suspicious, but there's no need to rush things. We can point fingers after we discuss everything thoroughly first, right? I guess you're right. Sorry, Sora. Wait, I basically said the same thing. But why listen to her and not me? Hey, Mikado. Would you mind just shutting up and stop pretending that you're helping? You didn't even participate in the other class trial discussions. Trying to be active in this trial only makes you all the more suspicious, you know. That's not true. He had the thing where he saw Aroha in the 3rd trial that he did talk, but no one would listen to him because it was him. Oh, wait. No, you've got it all wrong. I've always tried my best in trials. It's just that every time I spoke, I was rudely ignored by everyone. I would like to see an alternate universe where he wasn't outed as the mastermind immediately. Would people have tolerated him? Would he have had friends? I want to know. Whatever. How about we start talking about the case more in depth? How about the case, then? Well, where should we start? Let's hold the question of who's the culprit for now and try to reimagine how the case went down step by step. So the summarization of the case, I see. I'll do my best to cooperate. How the hell are you going to help at all? You weren't even there when it all happened. But I at least heard the basics of what happened from Sora. Yorika, we all agree that Mikado is unbearable, but for this case only, how about we give him a chance to talk? Above all, we only have 5 participants for this trial. With that low of a number, every word spoken from every person here should count. Well, if you say so, then all right. So it is agreed that I can speak freely then? Well then, first and foremost, I think we can all agree that this case started with that broadcast. He's right. The video of a mysterious someone approaching the fainted Teruya with a knife in the West broadcasting room. Let's talk about that video which started it all. Non-stop debate. And you have to do the explanations, or it just makes you, it asks you every time if you want them. Projector Film, Broken Window, Yoriko's account. Okay, I don't remember what any of those were. The video was broadcasted around 7 p.m. And as previously established, none of us have alibis during this time period. So I was in the west area, Yuki in the east, and Yoriko and I were in the east area, right? Oh, I was in the north area, in case you were curious. Immediately after watching that video, everyone except Mikado headed straight to the top floor of the West Twin Tower, but the door was locked, and so none of us were able to enter. We eventually broke the door down and entered the room. But after the sprinkler incident, Teruya was nowhere to be seen. Yeah, and when we entered the East broadcasting room to search for him, we found the door was locked. Teruya was in there being stabbed to death. It was like the dead corpse moved on its own. Yeah, he was already dead. What was the state Teruya's body was in? Someone said something odd about that. I need to recall if the case went down or not. Okay. Projector Film? Is it this? No? Okay. It's that though, right? I'm just gonna try everything. It's apparently that, but I don't know what the hell her account was because I don't remember. Yeah, I don't care. I love how this game does not make any sense sometimes. I probably should have just gone through. Oh, I had no option to go through the evidence at the beginning of this. I don't remember. I genuinely don't remember what her account was. I know there's a way to look at it because I often have to look at other people playing the game so I don't die. And they always like open up the evidence and they go through it and I'm like, how do you do that? I don't know how to do that. It never told me. Hold on, Yuki. Teruya wasn't stabbed to death. Huh? But there was a stab wound on his chest. Why did I think... I thought Yoriko's account was everyone's alibis. Is this the thing with the poison? The Monaco file didn't describe any other injuries, and I checked it out myself. Of course there are no other injuries. That's because he died by poisoning. What? The tip of Teruya's fingers and toes had turned blue. There were also pinkish spots near his thighs and back. These are telltale signs of poisoning, to be precise, cyanide poisoning at that. Oh my. You can tell that just from those marks? That's amazing, Sora. It wasn't me, it was Yoriko. I don't know it that well myself. It's not like I actually studied medicine. I just heard it from some crazy drunk doctor that wandered into our joint once. I have my fair share of medical knowledge, and I agree to your observations. Cyanide is a chemical suffocant, so to speak. It's a poison that prevents any living being from breathing properly. From the cyanosis to the pink spots, they're all signs of oxygen depletion. Wonderful work, Yoriko. Coming from you, even a compliment sounds disgusting. Wait, if Teruya was poisoned to death, what then? How come that video showed someone holding a knife? To throw us off. Or was that something else? Well, as I said before, there were knife wounds on his chest. Perhaps the culprit poisoned Teruya, then created a stab wound on the dead corpse? If Shobai was here, we would have been able to determine if that knife wound was made before or after Teruya was killed. Now, before we get into that, there's a whole other riddle that needs to be solved. Poisoning is quite an inconspicuous method of murder. Yet the killer announced their crimes knowingly using the broadcasting room. When you think about why you would choose to poison someone to get rid of them, the killer's little talent show becomes a bit contradictory, wouldn't you agree? Huh, you've got a point. It was as if they were saying, come and stop me if you can. Okay, here's my theory. Maybe it was the culprit's intention all along to gather us at the West Broadcasting Room. What do you mean? Recall that the West Broadcasting Room was locked from the inside. But what if the killer wanted to emphasize specifically that face to everyone by having a broadcast be sent to the whole island? And if we think about it that way, holding a knife leaves a much stronger impact than just holding some poison, right? Then what would be the point of creating a locked room and telling everyone about it? When we broke down the lock and entered the broadcasting room, we didn't see anyone inside, right? What? But that doesn't make sense. How could there be a locked room if there was nobody inside? Then that means it seems that the culprit laid out this incredible locked room mystery for us to solve. They say every good mystery fiction almost always features one. Even Emma used it back then, remember? The broadcast wasn't the main show. It was just a small teaser to lure everyone to the crime scene. Before we talk about who did it, it seems like we need to solve this locked room mystery. Locked room mystery. A room that can only be locked from the inside. And only the dead victim was inside when we unlocked it. The mysterious person inside the video had somehow vanished from the locked West Broadcasting Room. And now, we have to put our heads together to figure out how that happened. Ugh. Okay. Hopefully this one makes more sense to me. Okay. When we had gathered in front of the West Broadcasting Room's entrance, was the culprit already not inside the broadcasting room? That seems to be the case. But there was barely any time for that. How did they lock the room and escape during that short of a time period? Oh, I know. What we saw wasn't live footage. They just recorded it beforehand. I think that. Yeah, sorry. I know I typically go through the whole thing at once, but I immediately knew it was that. So I was just gonna do that because I remember the cameras were live recording. They proved that. Okay. Because I do like to see all the dialogue, but sometimes I get a little excited when I do know it. No, Aroha, that video has to be live. During our investigation, we've confirmed that the broadcasting room can only transmit live footage. Is that so? It's not really a surveillance camera, you see. If it had a database, it would actually be able to record and store videos, but unfortunately our broadcasting room lacks any of it. That means, when that video was being broadcasted at that moment, someone was in the West Broadcasting Room. What is it, Aroha? You've been staring at me for quite a while now. Yeah! Is there something you have to say? No. Tisk, tisk. If there's something you want to say, then you should feel free to say it, Aroha. This is a class trial, after all. We can only proceed if we each share our thoughts. Well, the thing is, when you first arrived on the top floor of the West Twin Tower, there wasn't anyone there, right? Yeah, there wasn't anyone there when I arrived. But what about that? Then, couldn't you have, locked and left the room, then pretended you just arrived there? What? Trying to say that again, Aroha. No, I'm not trying to accuse her. I just, thought it might be possible. So you're basically trying to say Sora's the culprit? No, I didn't say that. What do you mean you didn't? The person in the video was Sora. That's what you're trying to say, aren't you? Now that was a surprising remark considering it came from Aroha of all people. As I said before, I completely agree with Aroha. You said you were all together after you gathered at the top floor of the West Building. That means it's entirely possible for Sora to do the deed, create the locked room mystery, and then regroup with everyone. Let's not forget that Sora was also conveniently in the West area when the crime happened. So you're gonna fight in pairs, huh? Well, bring it on then. Yeah, guys, back me up. I, for one, regrouped with everyone. We don't know a thing about what you did or where you were during the murder. Do you think you have the right to suspect me? Might I remind you, as I was in the North area, I didn't have enough time to do anything. And how are you going to prove that? Yuki and Yoriko's alibis can be proven with the keycard histories. Aroha was seen by Yoriko. Even if you say you were in the North area, it means nothing if you have no witness to prove it. Well, that I have nothing to say. How unfortunate it is that there's nothing that can prove my alibi, isn't it? Fufu. Does he have something? Is that why he's fufuing? Mikado, you've been trying to pin the murder on Sora ever since the trial started. Don't you think this is very unlike you? Never once did you suspect a specific individual. Are you perhaps panicking? You took the words right out of my mouth, Yuki. What? You're the ones who aren't acting like yourselves. Answer me. What happened in between those two trials that made you believe Sora is a saint who's never lied once in her life? The last 4 trials were all carried through logical deduction, through discussions without personal feelings. That is. I won't say that I'm not a suspect, but there's no real proof that Sora is innocent as well. That's... Have you all forgotten? Once you rely on personal feelings, they will eventually cloud your judgment, preventing us from finding the real culprit. All I want to say is that anyone can be a culprit. I know how much you all hate me, but I would much prefer if you didn't look on me with jaundiced eyes. But Sora would never. Yoriko, calm down. As much as I hate to admit it, he's right that my alibi isn't perfect. Sora, it's alright. The truth will eventually reveal itself. Isn't that right, Mikado? Fufu, of course. I apologize for derailing our discussion with my short pep talk. Let us continue our talk about the locked room mystery. So Aroha just suspected Sora of locking the broadcasting room herself, pretending she just arrived there, but that isn't as easy as it sounds. Because wasn't there like something on the lock, like tape or something? I feel like that's going to come into play now. Nuh-uh. The door to my room locks itself up when I activate the lock and then close the door. You know, one time I lost the key to a door to one of my rooms and I couldn't get in that room for like forever. What is she even talking about? I guess it's Aroha we're talking about here. Sure, you can create a locked room by activating a lock from inside, then closing the door from the outside. But that wasn't possible with the broadcasting room because... Is it the tape thing? Oh, this is Yoriko's account. Oh, this is the thing about the poison. Okay, yeah, it was that. This? No! Okay, door lock, okay. It's okay because monochrome don't matter anymore. That, okay. Aroha, the broadcasting door is probably different from the ones you're thinking of. It's not a button-based lock mechanism, but a lever-based one. Once that is locked, upon holding the door down with the lever, in other words, you can only lock the door only after completely shutting the door. I see. So if we were to try what Aroha suggested by locking the door then shutting it, you wouldn't be able to shut it in the first place. Correct. Hence why it becomes a contradiction where there was nobody in the broadcasting room where it was locked. Forget the alibis. Just solving how the culprit even managed such a feat is an issue right now. Yeah, this hurts my brain. But the fact of the matter is, the door was indeed locked with nobody inside the room, right? This has proven to be quite a riddle that the culprit has posed. What method did the culprit actually use to achieve this? And we're spinning again. Yay. Cloth, broken window, monochrome file 5. How did the culprit create the locked room? Maybe to lock the door they used a special tool outside? There certainly are lots of props in the storage room to assist such an act. Or perhaps there was another exit we didn't know about. Broken window? What do you mean? Sora mentioned a window being broken, remember? Oh, they broke the window and escaped. I think it's that because they couldn't have survived. They did lock the door from the inside, but they just escaped from the locked room through the window. Wouldn't they just fall to their death? Yeah. Did you forget how high up the Twin Towers actually were? No matter what method the culprit used to create a locked room, there must be some evidence left over. It can't be that complex. It's probably something that was right in front of us the whole time. I think it's what Aroha said. Oh, there we go, okay. I didn't point very well. No, Aroha, I don't think that's the case. I first thought of that as a possibility, but you would actually fall from that height. You would definitely fall to your doom this time. But they could have used ropes to climb down like they do in movies. And besides, this is a virtual world. Who knows, you might survive from falling like if you face through the floor or something. Wait, no, I'm not saying you're suspicious because you've done that before. Please don't take it the wrong way. Quit it, Aroha. There's zero possibility of that happening. I also considered it plausible and tried throwing stuff out the window, but it actually fell to the ground. Looks like the Tower of Babel was just an anomaly. Then, why did the culprit break the window? Well, why did the culprit break the window? They wanted some fresh air. Did they only do it to make us think they escaped through the window? Was that it? No, the reason they broke the window was because they needed to, and the proof for that is... I don't know. Huh? I don't understand what it means. This? 'Cause there's glass on it? Okay. Perhaps it was because they needed some glass powder. Oh, they broke it to get it on the thing? Okay, let's see where they go with this. Glass powder, what are you talking about? I found some lying around the West Broadcasting Room, more specifically on some burnt scrap paper. The window was made out of glass, right? Maybe the powder was the reason they broke the window. A plausible theory, yes. But why would they even sprinkle glass powder onto that paper in the first place? Burnt powder. Glass. That's it! That's it, Sora! What is it, Yoriko? There was something bugging me when we were all investigating together, but now it all makes sense. I'll help you out, Sora. Let's go, Queen. Remember the thing I told you about in the broadcasting room? I didn't know what it was for back then, but maybe this is the key to solving the locked room mystery. I don't remember what you told me. It's been too much time. I think you just move them around, and yeah, I don't think I need the guide for that. Okay, let's focus up. Oops. Okay. Okay. Door locks, sprinklers, broken window, projector film. The film? Okay. That is the only thing I think she actually told me about. Yeah, baby. Okay. I get it, Yoriko. It's the projector film, isn't it? The powder that was on that film. Projector film? Yep, as expected. The powder that was on the first film was yellow phosphorus. The glass powder was used to create friction with the yellow phosphorus to cause a fire. Oh, okay. What? Fire? And what was that thing you said before? Yellow phosphorus? Is a chemical commonly that was used in matches and such back in the day. Its low perking point has made it quite dangerous to use, eventually leading to its discontinuation. How did the culprit get their hands on it then? It's actually easier than you'd think. This island is a city and there's literally a place for everything here. That being said, I didn't expect you to have such knowledge on chemistry, Yoriko. It's pretty much obvious to anyone who actually paid attention in class. Okay. But how did they cause friction between them? And if a fire had really occurred, how come nobody noticed it? And another question I might add, what does the fire have anything to do with the locked room mystery again? It certainly does. And it's thanks to Yoriko that we found this out. The important part isn't the yellow phosphorus, the glass powder, nor the sprinklers. What we have to focus on is that the projector film itself was used to create the locked room mystery. The projector film itself? Roha, you asked how the culprit was able to create friction between those two flammable materials, right? It was from the ceiling. It was because it all occurred from the ceiling that we weren't able to notice it, as we were busy looking at Turia and that horrifying visual. To be precise, it had to do with the sprinklers. The sprinklers in the broadcasting room were shaped like a ring, so you would be able to hang something on it. Now, hold on just a moment. You're not actually going to suggest they might have hung the film onto the sprinklers, are you? Why would they opt for such a cumbersome method? He's right. And the broadcasting room ceiling was super high. You could use a ladder, but there wasn't even anyone to use the ladder. Don't you worry about that. Even with the ceiling high and nobody there, the fire was going to automatically occur once we entered the broadcasting room. What? Didn't you all hear what Sora's been trying to say? That was why the projector film was used. They specifically used an old-fashioned film projector that has to go through a loop. Yoriko's right. This locked room mystery was possible only because it was an old-fashioned film projector. The proof that the projector film was used, the evidence found on the door, should be the key. The tape. Right? They taped it to the door, so when the door opened, it would, like, break off and move, I think? The lock on the broadcasting room's door had tape on it. Tape? Wait a minute. Oh, so that's how it is. What? I didn't quite get that. What about it? Simply put, this is what happened. They pulled out the film from the projector to make it go through the sprinklers on the ceiling. And they taped it onto the door's lock. Then they sprinkled yellow phosphorus onto the film and positioned a scrap of paper with a glass powder in between the sprinklers and the film. Now, what would happen if the projector was turned on at this point? Well, I imagine the film would start rolling. Correct. Sorry, I don't know who said that. I wasn't paying attention. Correct. The projector will start pulling the film inwards. And with that, the lock's lever orientation becomes horizontal from vertical due to the film pulling it. I get it now. So using this method, you'll be able to lock the door automatically just by turning the projector on and leaving the room with the door closed. Yes, and the great thing about this trick is the state is preserved until someone opens the door. The film won't roll anymore due to the tape on the lock holding it steady. I see. Indeed, this trick is magnificent. But how do you exactly be able to cause a fire from that mechanism? Simple. The film just has to resume rolling. The locked door cannot be unlocked and opened by normal means, so someone has to eventually break the door down, and that's exactly what happened. When the door gets destroyed, the film is no longer held still by the tape. So the film will begin rolling again. Oh my god, I don't know who's saying this, I'm not paying attention. I'm looking at the visuals. Exactly, and because the culprit had set it up so that the film went through the sprinklers, it will naturally move through them when it retracts. On that film, the culprit has sprinkled yellow phosphorus, and on the sprinklers, the paper with the glass powder on it is attached to it. Now, what do you imagine will happen when the film grazes the paper at high speeds? Flames! Yup, this is how they created the friction to cause the fire. When we had broken into the broadcasting room, there was this weird video casted on Turia's body, remember? That wasn't just for show. That was the video on the film being played right as we destroyed the tape holding it. Of course, there was also the purpose of misguiding our attention in that dark room. Oh, so the sprinklers had activated immediately because the flame it had detected was right beneath it. That was the reason why we were showered with water soon after we had entered. How's that? We've now solved the locked room mystery. Yeah, but how'd he get to the other place? Foo-foo. Mikado, are you, Amazing, I applaud your detective skills, I most sincerely do. And to think I was worried you wouldn't make it without Shobai. Oh, how you've all grown. Marveling because someone solved your riddle, huh? You really are a psycho, you know that? Oh no, you've got it all wrong. I was genuinely astonished by your intellect, you see. We'll know soon whether Mikado's the culprit or not when we talk this through. Now that we've solved the locked room mystery, it's finally time to talk about the culprit. Hold on, while we did solve the mystery of how they locked the floor and escaped, aren't there still other matters to solve first? Getting feisty, are we? Trying to talk on every little detail in hopes of something. No, Yoriko, he's right. What? The locked room mystery's been solved, sure. We've proved that it's possible to lock the door without anyone being inside the broadcasting room. But about that, there actually was someone inside the broadcasting room. Teruya. Oh. That reminds me. Teruya disappeared from the room when we re-entered the room after the sprinklers were turned off. Right? So, how'd that happen? It's probably the sprinklers. Like, you know how the sprinklers was strong enough to blind our sight with water, right? They used that to move Teruya while we weren't looking. Why else would they utilize the sprinklers into their plan? Yoriko, that's impossible. Whatever method they used, if Teruya had been moved out of the broadcasting room, he would have certainly passed us, waiting in front of the door. If it's not outside the broadcasting room, then maybe he was inside the storage? Both broadcasting rooms had storage rooms, right? Maybe there was a secret passageway between those two rooms. I can guarantee you that there are none of the sort. The bridge is the only thing that connects the two buildings. And it's relevant somehow, I swear to God, it is. And even that was unusable due to bugs. I don't know that it was. You see, we were all presuming a logical fallacy. From the proposition of someone moved Teruya away to hold someone else needs to be inside the broadcasting room. Then doesn't that invalidate the whole purpose of solving the locked room mystery? It ain't a locked room mystery if the culprit was actually inside the whole time. So, what do you suggest we do? How did Teruya disappear? Maybe it wasn't him. Maybe it was that sheet was actually a picture that was really well drawn of Aroha of Teruya dead. Now, do you get what's the problem here? If we suppose your locked room mystery theory is true, then you're saying that Teruya disappeared out of thin air. Everyone, don't tell me you're all stuck. No, this is a predicament. At this rate, we'll never even find out what method the culprit used, let alone who they are. Then use your head instead of leaving everything to us. All you're doing is complaining. Well, that's kind of hard to say anything when every single person in here is suspecting you. Shut up, Mikado. Can't you see we're trying to think here? Jeez. Case in point. You all saw that, didn't you? Why would I say anything if this is what happens all the time? I knew we needed Shobai after all. I love him. I wish he was here. If he was here, I would be a much happier player. That's for one thing. Aroha, he's just cool. But I can cope. It's okay. Shobai. I miss him too, Sora. We didn't particularly like him. I did. But without him, we wouldn't have come this far. No, it's not just him. He's so cute. She's evil. I'm okay with Kokoro. Kokoro, Kanade. We are all standing here because of the help of those who are no longer with us. Ugh, I don't even want to look at Kanade's stupid face. So are we really incapable of doing anything without them? Can't we even survive through a single trial? I miss him so much. That isn't true. We can do this too. Think what Kokoro, Kanade, and Shobai would have done in a situation like this. Well, I don't care what Kanade would have done because I don't like her and she's crazy, but Shobai would have been all sexy. Would have been like, solve it yourselves. That's what he would have done. And be like, you're all stupid for not getting it. What would they have come up with? How do you not know the answer? I saw Tsurugi. That's him on the right. I saw his tie. If I were them, that's him. I think that's right next to him. I didn't really see. The text box came up too fast, but I saw Tsurugi's torso. Is he watching us? Is he gonna get us? He's kind of crazy. Yuki, did you say something about the storage room? Huh? Well, yeah, we did find this body inside the storage room, right? I mean, it was in the east instead of the west, but yeah. About the storage room, what do you think made it suddenly appear? Oh, maybe the painting was a fake, wall? It made them think that the door wasn't there? Suddenly appear. When we first arrived on the 5th island, there was no door to the storage room in the broadcasting room. We only took notice of it after the culprit's broadcasting. Why am I hung up on this paint thing? I don't know. Wait, no, even when we entered the west broadcasting room, there was no door behind Teruya then either. I can't really remember how it was with all the commotion back then. No, she's right. When that video was being broadcasted on Teruya's body, yeah, there's definitely no door behind him. Was that so? I think I remember it. Or not. No, I'm positive. We only found the door only after the sprinklers had stopped. Right. Whatever the culprit did, be it carrying Teruya over or making the door appear, the only time we were able to do any of that was only during when the sprinklers were active. But why and how? Forgetting making Teruya disappear, how would you be able to suddenly make a door appear from a wall with nothing? Virtual world. I guess even that isn't going to cut it this time, right? Maybe. There was some hidden mechanism within the room. Like, you know, in mangas, when you push a button and the wall moves to reveal a hidden space. Or something like that. Is this really the time to talk about manga? If you don't have the brains, then you should at least shut up. Sorry. Huh? I can't help but get the feeling that something's off. The part about the locked room mystery that we just solved. Sora, something up. You've been staring at the ceiling for quite a while. Yoriko, why sprinklers? What? The locked room mystery that we just solved, why did they cause a fire to activate the sprinklers? Huh? Oh, hear me out. The paint of Teruya, it was a painting of Teruya and the sprinklers washed it away. And they had to get that to make it fall down and make it paint, the paint wasn't dry somehow and they had to just wash away the evidence? Is that, no, that's stupid. What am I saying? Huh? You guys are the ones who explained that to us, remember? They used the sprinklers to hook the film and hold the door shut. That was only about how the sprinkler's shape and position was used. You can create a locked room using only the projector and film without even needing to cause a fire with friction from the yellow phosphorus. Huh, you're right. Why did they suddenly cause a fire? They caused a fire to activate the sprinklers. The tarp, there was a painting on it they wanted to wash away. I don't know if it was the painting of a wall without a door or if it was of Turia. It was one of the two. This is my theory. I'm locking it in. It's probably wrong. The question then shifts to why they set up such a convoluted mess just to activate the sprinklers. I recall you saying something about the water streams being strong enough to blind your sight. Perhaps they tried to do something in that time. Or they wanted us to leave the broadcasting room to do something without being seen. Do something without being seen, and what would that something even be? There wasn't anyone inside the broadcasting room to begin with, so even with the water blinding us, there wasn't anything secretive to be done. I think that activating the sprinklers itself was the point. Activating the sprinklers itself? Think. The irregularity that happened in the sprinklers activation. These events must be connected. We already solved the locked room mystery. We're not objecting that fact. We're only looking at it from a different angle. Tackle each question one by one, and we'll surely find the truth. Okay. Oh, I hate this game. I hate it so much. I have to sneeze. If this randomly cuts out, it's because I sneezed. Okay. I mean, it is significantly easier now that I have Yuri's skill. Like, can you imagine doing this, like, the way it was before? I would have been here for months. I've been like, sorry guys, the series is canceled because of logic craft. Like, jeez. This is complicated. I mean, it's not that bad, but it's a little hard right now. Okay. What can the culprit achieve by activating the sprinklers? Wash something off. Move to his pot. Oh, am I gonna be right? I'm going with this because it's the closest to my own theory. Come on, come on. Yes! 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 Okay. Oh, I hope my dumb self is right. You know how funny that would be? I'm gonna laugh so hard. Everyone who's like, oh, Lizzie, you're so stupid. Actually, no one's ever said that to me. People are usually pretty nice in my comment section. I've only ever had a few mean comments, and I usually just, like, ignore them or delete them. I mean, I only delete them if they're threatening, which I do get. Not on this series, that's more my edits, but, okay. Anyways. What did the culprit try to wash by activating the sprinklers? Wall? Oh, am I gonna be right? That's gonna be so funny. It was a painting of him. It was a Roja, guys. I was right. We don't know anything for sure now. That's actually gonna make me feel really proud of myself. I like when I am right. I don't like when I do that. This would have been so hard, that part right there I just did, where you have to, like, keep it low, close to the floor. Oh my god. It's lagging a little bit. I'm getting a little sick from this. Come on. Okay. Whew. That made me motion sick. It was going too fast. Why did the culprit try to wash the walls with water? The wall is dirty to get rid of drawing. Oh! Oh my god, me being dumb, big brain moment. Oh, well, I'm an ace detective, what can I say? It was a Roja, guys. She drew him and then got rid of it. He was never there. She's the ultimate artist. That's my theory now. I cannot believe. I feel so smart. I've got it. I know how Tree disappeared and how the door suddenly appeared. Really, Sora? The point was that these two things happened at once. It wasn't after Teruya was gone that the door had appeared. It was because Teruya had disappeared that the door was visible. Can't you explain? Do you know why the culprit activated the sprinklers? They tried to wash the wall off through the sprinklers. Wash the walls? If I make it straight to the point, the door to the storage room was always there. The culprit just had simply hidden it by putting a drawing on top of it. To draw? Wait, what are we talking about again? The Teruya we saw in the West Broadcasting Room wasn't real at all. Oh my god, I was right. This feels so gratifying. Oh my goodness. I'm just so smart. It was just a painting of the fainted Teruya drawn on the wall. I can't believe I was right about that. That was such a guess. Hold on, that doesn't make any sense. If it was a drawing, we would have noticed it right away. Trick art. So that's it, right, Sora? Trick art. It's something used in hyperrealism style arts. You draw on a plane, but it looks like it's in 3D. A good trick art can mess with our depth perception to create an illusion that the object actually exists. As Yoriko said, the culprit had drawn Teruya on top of the door. It was to make it seem like instead of the door, Teruya's corpse lay there. I see, so if the water from the sprinklers washed away the drawing, then Teruya's drawing on the wall would disappear, revealing the door that was originally there. But would that really be possible? And do we have any proof that it was a drawing? It does sound like something that came out of nowhere. But if the Teruya we saw in the West Broadcasting Room was real, then that wouldn't have happened then. If I trace my steps back to reveal what exactly had bugged me back then. Oops. Yeah. Memorize all these cards. This is objectively the hardest one unless you cheat, which I do. Okay. What? Something discovery. I think it's maybe body discovery. So body. This is one of those games I imagine was much easier in Korean with the characters. I think this translation, there's just not enough time to actually like look at the word and memorize what it wants. And yeah, I take a picture because I don't think it's possible otherwise. I don't, unless you have like photographic memory. There's just too much going on at once. The body discovery announcement. Back then, I was too busy panicking to notice, but something was off about it. It didn't happen until they saw him in the other room, because that wasn't him. Okay. When we broke down the door and entered the room, we four all saw Teruya's body, yet the body discovery announcement was not made. Why was that the case? Because it was just a drawing instead of the real deal. You're right. With 4 people discovering the body, the announcement should have been made. But the announcement was only made after we found the body again in the East Broadcasting Room. Perhaps it was just the case that Teruya was still alive when you found him in the West Broadcasting Room. No, the corpse we found in the East Storage Room was cold and rigid. Only a few minutes had passed between when we first discovered him in the West and when we arrived at the East Broadcasting Room. If he had died during this time, his body should have been still warm and soft. Teruya was poisoned, right? I imagine he probably died a while ago. After all, you couldn't find him after searching everywhere for days, right? I agree. Teruya was probably kept inside the East Storage Room all this time after being poisoned to death. The door to the storage room was hidden by paint covering the walls. So of course we couldn't find him. We didn't even know the existence of the place he was in. This is amazing. We've solved every trick related to the crime scene. So all we gotta do is find the person who did this. The culprit's identity. Kinda ironic, isn't it? All this question about how they did it basically revealed who did it as well. I mean, do I even have to spell it out? We all know that there's only one person capable of doing this. It's exactly as Yoriko said. The trick was only possible by one individual among us. I wanted to talk more, but now that we've uncovered the truth, we have to reveal that person. The identity of the killer who murdered Teruya. Oh my god, Aroha, how could you? You stupid girl. That's where Shobai goes. Idiot. The killer who fooled our eyes through hyper-realistic paintings and killed Churia. You've been silent for quite a while now, haven't you? Aroha Nijue. Ah. I'm assuming this is the halfway point. Yup. Suspended. Cool. Alright. This is actually the perfect place to stop it. And this will just be one video. This is like the right length about. It's only about 50 minutes. So there should not be any issue with putting this all in one video, which means I have to record again this week. Ah, it's okay. I cannot believe this. I mean, people were even saying in the comments, like, who else could it be besides Aroha? It doesn't make sense. Everyone else is too important, you know? So, it doesn't surprise me. But, you know, what does surprise me is that I was right about the painting. Go me, I guess. That's hilarious. I kind of predicted that in the investigation, actually. I think is when I first came up with that. And I was like, nah. Oh, maybe they painted the bridge, too. You know, that'd be funny. Maybe they did. Who knows? I doubt it. Because they already had the one thing painted. But you know what? That'd be actually really funny. Okay, I'm gonna end this because my dog's barking. And I just want to finish recording. If you hear her in the back, I am so sorry. Someone's at the door or something. Oh my gosh, please be quiet. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching this. If you like this, please leave a like and a comment. I love hearing all of your thoughts and theories. And subscribe if you haven't. It really does help out me and it helps out my channel. Keep leaving your suggestions for games after this. I'm looking through all of them. I'm trying to decide. I will do a shameless plug. People want me to play Ace Attorney, and I can't because I have played that before. The games I've played, I keep listing them though. Somnium Files, Zero Escape, Your Turn to Die, Ace Attorney, Raincoat. I've played all of these, you know, great games. Please, again, no fan games. Please, no fan games. Please. I'm not doing that. But yes, my best friend has started an Ace Attorney Let's Play on her channel. It's Moog, and I highly recommend watching that. I normally wouldn't be like, I have to promote my friend, but people want me to play it, and she has a very similar playstyle to me and a very similar sense of humor to me. Even the voices she does, I actually got quite a few of them from her. Specifically, the Teruya voice I stole from her. She's doing this first, and I thought it was really funny, so then I took it for my characters. But she's been doing that for years. So, yeah, it's Moog. She's only posted one episode at the time of me posting this. It's like Mondays she's posting, but is probably the closest you are going to get to watching me play Ace Attorney, so I would recommend it if you wanted to see me do it, because I'm not going to, but she is, so it's probably the closest you'll get if you did want to see that. Anyways, I hope you're having a wonderful day or night wherever it is in the world when you're watching this. I hope it's fantastic, and with all that being said, I will see you next time when we complete the trial. Later.